So once you have finalized your color of your spot illustration, and you've made sure it looks good on different backgrounds, right? On gray, on white, on black, then you can save it as a transparent and flattened illustration, as a PNG, to the desktop. And you can resubmit for assignment 7. You can resubmit to and update your image for Redbubble. You can make improvements to your work. But why you need it as a PNG, if you can't just grab it from the old file you used for assignment 7, is so you can bring it into your poster assignment. So back to assignment 8, I open up my PSD file. And before I can pick colors for my black text solution, I have to know the colors of my spot illustration. And I have to know the colors of the background I'm thinking of using. Because colors matter a lot. If the background is dark, you don't want your text solution to be dark. So let me see. So I'm going to take that PNG I saved. It's right here to the desktop. I'm going to drag and drop it in, and then it will come in as a smart object. And I have to size it, right? It actually should be the right size. But if not, I can hold down Shift and Option to grow it from the middle and place it in line with my black outline. Actually, that looks kind of cool. So that's the black outline with the stroke on top of my finished coloring. But then, of course, I can move my coloring up above the black line as well, which is more what I had in mind. Right? So now I need a background. And most posters, even digital art posters, don't have just a solid white background. And so what I did is I actually found this at the bottom of my kid's crayon drawer. It's a little index card that had gotten dotted with lots of little bits of crayon that have melted on it. And I thought it was a cool texture, so I scanned it at a high resolution. And I want to use that as a background. And then I also, keeping with this theme, I scanned the corner of a doodle that my wife did, and I thought I could use that. So then, using my compositing skills, you can find any background you want. You can find a texture fill and all of that. But then I just layered those elements together to create a background. And I did a little gradient overlay to play with it. Right? So this is the background I'm going to use. I'll save that. Actually, I won't even save it. I'm just going to move this all into one folder. To do that, I need to unlock the background. Just like I did with the color separations, I'll make a background folder. It's just to keep things organized. Pull that out. And then pull the background layer into this. Right? Then I can close it. And where should a background go? Well, it should go behind everything else. Right? So I move it down behind all the stuff that matters. And I transform it to fit the space. Now we are very oversized at this point because we're at 450 pixels per inch. So I am going to use the background to figure out a good shape for my poster. Right. So I'm thinking something kind of like that. And then I can crop to it And because I scanned the index card has its own little rounded edges and drop shadow underneath it. So it comes with its own border. But of course, you can always build in a border just by expanding your canvas size beyond the background you choose. And now I have to arrange these elements and color my text and figure out how to make it as effective as possible. All right, but this is a good time to save it. And what I'm going to do is, because my image is so large, after it saves, I think I might check its image size and resolution and make it what I want it to print to. So make it print ready before I do too much else, because it's almost, it's over 3 gigs as a file now, which is a problem. But the good news is all of my major elements are vectors and smart objects. So they're going to scale perfectly whatever resolution I use. Yeah, so it's 3.19 gigabytes now. So I'm going to go to image size. I'm no longer doing digital coloring, so I don't need it to be at such a heightened resolution. And I don't need it to be 20 by 30 inches. So first, I'm going to make it the size I can actually print. And the largest we can print in this class is 17 by 22 inches. The largest standard mats are 16 by 20. So I might do 20 inches tall. And then resample it to be 350 inches or 350 pixels per inch. And that's going to shrink it considerably, down to 89 megabytes, at least for one layer. So let's see what it happens to its overall gigabytes. But I like how the doodle's working. And the reason we kind of play with the background and a border and our spot illustration before we color the text is we don't want to make everything really busy. All right, yeah, so now it's even as a working file with all these different layers and options, many of which can be erased, it's not nearly as large anymore, and it's good print resolution. All right, so now what do I want for the text? Well, I think I want some layer styles. This will work whether you rasterized it or whether you're going right from the smart objects. So for Texas, let me do an outer stroke. It's not really needed for Texas. It is needed for humility, but it kind of helps with Texas. I might put in a drop shadow. But nah, I think it's pretty effective without one. You just have a lot of options. Now, in terms of coloring, what's the easiest way to color? Let's take Texas first. It's just to do a straightforward color overlay. And then you can choose your color, and just like we've done before, you can actually steal it from your image if you want. So what if I want it to look like it's done with this ballpoint pen? Well, first, I would pick kind of a color that I think is representative of the ballpoint pen. They call this millennial pink. And designers are sick of it. That's just a post that I recently saw. Yeah, exactly. So maybe I can use millennial pink as an ode to it. And then but what if I don't want it like that, right? What if I don't want it just straightforward? I could try the texture options. And we've looked at these back when we did logos briefly. but here they can make a lot more sense. So by texturing it, you can give it a slight, three-dimensional feel. You can make it much stronger if you want. But what I like to do is actually find a texture fill. This goes back to compositing, right? So what do I want? I want a letterpress, kind of grainy texture fill. And I'm going to want it at a high resolution. So if I just search that first, then go to Images, go to Tools, go to Size, larger than, let's do 8 megapixels. There we go. Designers will deliver. Remember, texture overlays, it's not the color I'm getting, it's just the texture I want. Because I can use pin light or overlay it. So I'm going to put that there, but actually this color could work pretty well for Texas. So now I just take that, I stretch it across my Texas. Let's see what you guys remember about compositing. How can I cut the shape of Texas out of this texture? I'm going to go to the vector of my type there. I'll turn the effects off so you can see it. And I'm going to use the magic wand with contiguous turned off to select the empty space around it. And it will also get all the little windows cut out, like the middle of the A. Then I say select inverse. I move the selection to the texture I brought in, even though it's a smart object, and then I duplicate it, Command J. And that way I get Texas as a texture. Yeehaw. So that's it without, that's it with, and with the stroke. And then of course I can use it in different ways. I can overlay it. So that millennial pink is nice and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. I can try pin light to just keep the texture pretty minimal. But you see, that helps, I think, beyond not having it at all. Breaks it up. And I can try soft light, which is another one I often try. And that might be what I stay with. It's subtle, but effective. And not as distracting as actually using an embossing. Right, so I think I've got Texas solved. Now what do I do with humility? Well, the black seems a little strong now with these color solutions. So I'm going to go to that layer. I like the stroke, so let me try a color overlay. And let's choose a color from my spot illustration this time. One of these deeper colors. But since I've got pink here, why don't I do something with cyan or with blue? Trying to find it within the wing. So many colors. Something like that, but maybe a little more muted. A little darker. And then I can play the same texture game with that. So how do I do that? I bring in my texture overlay. I stretch it out across. I go to my text. I'll turn off the effects so you can see. I use the magic wand, select the empty space around, select inverse, move my selection to my texture layer. Where did I move that to? Not there. There it is. And then duplicate. Right? And there it is, but obviously it's the wrong color.